Andor is not new Star Wars. It's not a change that Disney's trying to bring to completely reshape our idea of that galaxy far, far away. No, Andor is the skeletal system in which the rebellion stands strong. I love this show, but episode 7 to 9 has changed my whole idea on Andor as a show itself. I think what it's done is it's sedimented itself as the root of the Star Wars universe. I mean, if you look back, you think of the moment that Luke fires his proton torpedoes down into that little chute in the Death Star, blowing it up and sparking the rebellion galaxy-wide. This moment in episode 9 has made everything so much more important. Everything so much more impactful, because that right there, that speech with Mon Mothma echoed through the galaxy. It is what has created my foundation of love for that moment. And it's come out years later. I mean, like tens of years later. From that moment right there in episode 9, it has made everything in A New Hope so much more important, so much more impactful. We know everything that has been lost in order to reach that moment. The climax that is Luke taking down the Death Star is not just him. That moment, he is a vessel for change. He is a vessel to create the new rebellion, to create strength, to ignite the hope. Hope is the spark of the rebellion, and this show just exudes it. I'm obsessed with this show. I think episodes 7 to 9 have been some of the best episodes of any show that I've ever seen. I mean, if you're looking at the review, I definitely give it cinema. I don't even have to give it that 1 minute review. I think this has spoken for itself. As someone who has not been a big fan of Andor in season 1, they've made some amazing moments and some brilliant speeches. In a full series, just chock-a-block full of these amazing speeches and moments. Nothing compares to season 2. If you're looking at Tony Gilroy, you just see someone who's cooking constantly. This guy knows how to create Star Wars, and he's not even a Star Wars fan. Because what is rooted in this show is everything in human history, our failures, our successes, anything that we can bring to the table is in this show. Episode 8 was a brilliant recreation of the French Revolution. You're looking at everyone on Gorman, all of the language just exudes this French style and just the brilliance and in the French vocabulary. Everything to do with the spark of that revolution is what we've seen in history. Tony Gilroy has done his history. He's done the most amazing job at creating this galaxy far, far away in the most recognizable way to our own eyes. It's what generates this curiosity within anyone who views this to want to be better, to want to be in the rebellion. How do you not look at this and see Star Wars in a completely different light? This show, everything to do with this show is so important. It's so impactful. I could not turn it off. Now, when I started episode 7, as a content creator, I've got to go through 3 hours of footage to actually make a video. And I gotta say, I was on the treadmill, okay? I was on the treadmill and I wanted to do 20 minutes and I thought, okay, I'm just going to chuck on episode 7. I'm just going to watch the first little part while I do my cardio and I'm going to swap to another machine and do all that kind of stuff. I swear to you, I couldn't turn it off. I was there doing the whole episode's worth of cardio, constantly running, just obsessed, my mind completely focused in and locked in on the most beautiful moments of that episode. And look, I've got to say, if I'm doing something to kind of extract the most meaningful parts, is that Cassian is a vessel of the Force. He is the messenger that the rebellion needs. He's not some meaningless character put to the side in Rogue One. That's the first thing that I thought of. When I saw this show, I thought, why are we getting a show that we have someone who we've never ever seen before, never cared about. Why is this guy here? It's all made sense. Episode 7, it's made sense. I mean, sure, you could see this guy going like, oh, season 1 was very much, oh, this is the backstory of Cassian. This is how everything forms together. This is how the rebellion starts and how he reaches the point in the rebellion to get to the level where he is stealing the Death Star plans. But season 2 has completely changed its tone. It's completely changed everything to do with this one. And I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I mean, like the biggest part of I say the first episode because these ones are just arcs, okay? So it's all in arcs and it's a year later from the previous 3. So episode 6, it's a year later. We're on Yavin. And there's something that's really important here. And it's something that I think they touched on beautifully because how do you accept all of the stuff that they added in the sequels and bring it in to the level that it was in the original trilogy? Force healing. Look at that. Look at this Force healer. Someone who is, a kooky, crazy scientist. Someone who believes in this spiritual shit in a world of science. Like, how do you bring a concept that is so deeply rooted in the change for the worse of Star Wars within the whole fandom and create something so prolific, so beautiful? Like, it's just this moment right there with Cassian and the Force healer. It's something that, everybody talks about online as the main character moment. You look out and you go, I'm the main character. But this person turns around in a group of people who are needing help just as much as Cassian, turns around, looks at Cassian and goes, who are you? Who are you? Proceeds to guess everything. And in that moment, sure, Force healing, okay, the way I understand Force healing is that she gives a bit of herself. She's doing the ultimate sacrifice. She's giving away part of herself to heal those who need it. I know she's not a Jedi. I know she's not someone who is, even like Chirrut or Inway. Chirrut Inway, I think that's his name. The guy from Rogue One who's like, I'm one with the Force is with me. Just to see him, she's not even like that. She's not just a loyalist to the Force. She's someone who has the ability to sacrifice. And oh my God, how can you not look deep into these episodes? I apologize if this is deeper than most of the other stuff that I've been doing, if it's a different kind of change of pace. I'm blown away. I'm genuinely blown away because you look at this and you go, what is it that she sees in him? She sees hope. She sees the future. She sees someone who is willing to give all for this. And there was a very important moment in that episode 7 that we will relate to later in episode 9. Bix is the home that Cassian needs. And if Cassian is going to be at home, he's not with the rebellion. So she needs to go. And that's what she did in episode 9. Oh, tears. God, the orchestral score at the same time as him sprinting through the base. I was sobbing, just going, this means everything. Bix has done the ultimate sacrifice, a life of quietness, a life of comfort, everything to do with anything that she's wanted her whole life. She's been in running. She has done everything to get to a point of quiet, of peace, of sanctity. She's sacrificed it all. Now, I know, obviously, she's not going to a point where she's a part of the rebellion, and we're not going to get a Bix Caleen show. No. We're not going to see any more of her, but that's the point. That's the point. Someone who is forever in turmoil, forever waiting for that moment to see Cassian at the end and to find him dead. The ultimate sacrifice. The ultimate sacrifice because of her actions to make sure that he stays within the rebellion. God, the weight that she must have on her for the rest of her life. And to see all of this through the Force healer's eyes was beautiful because Cassian not only is the messenger of hope for the whole rebellion, he's not only the person who gets the message to send to Leia. He gives the person that sacrifices everything a reason to sacrifice even more. This show is everything. I saw outside of the show. I mean, they were doing an interview with Luthen, or Stellan Skarsgård, okay, the man who plays Luthen. Now, everyone knows what I think when it comes to Luthen. I think he's the Palpatine of the good side. He is orchestrating everything. He's the master puppeteer of everything with the good side. Without him, we would have never seen Mon Mothma escape. All right. Well, obviously, I know Cassian was that big reason, but like, we never would have seen Mon Mothma escape. We never would have seen her leave and start the rebellion. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm just, everything in this show means everything. And it's one of the words that resounded so much with him. I mean, he said here, and I wrote it down. What Tony Gilroy did, the director, what Tony Gilroy did is he made every single line poignant. He made every single line life or death. No matter what, everything that people do in this show is consequential. Life or death. You either follow and you live, or you challenge and you die. It's gorgeous. It's everything. I mean, how else do you put this other than this is the most important show in Star Wars right now? I'm a massive Mandalorian fanboy. You see Mando everywhere that I go. I mean, Bloore on Mandalore. I love that show. And I think there's always going to be places for shows like this. Genuinely, like Mando and Ahsoka, and you need that. You need the lighthearted aspect where, you know, it tackles darker and deeper issues. Sure, I understand that. And there's always going to be a place for that. That is the DNA of Star Wars. Never, ever do I ever want to get rid of that. And for the fans that don't like a show like Andor, I understand. Please, I understand you. Just please look at this and understand the weight of this show. This is what we need. I feel like with everything lighthearted, we need something like Andor. Now, I put in my notes the very first episode because it's something that I thought about initially. Now, there was a point that Disney made a big change, and I'd like to say that is the point of Thor Ragnarok. Now, yes, Taika is just big in the industry now. He is ginormous. I mean, like, how do you get bigger than him right now? Everybody wants him to add that little bit of comedic flair, but I feel like he's overdone it. I don't like the way he does things. I don't like his personality. I think he is an egotistical maniac who is he's someone that shouldn't be in charge of something that has changed the lives of millions of people. He is not someone who you put in to create something that is impactful and has a genuine artistic direction. No, he's someone that you lighten up the franchise. And I think Thor Ragnarok as an individual was so important. But it's different now. It's very, very different. We don't need that. Now, what Disney does is, and this is a testament to who they are a reactionary force. They know what is going wrong and how to make it better. Now, obviously, we're kind of lacking right now. I understand that. I mean, like, we're in a period of like, what the hell are we going through? Why do they want to create this? What's going on? But we're coming out of that. And I feel like, you know, we're not, I mean, yes, okay, I understand that woke is necessary. Now, people need a voice and people need someone to resonate to. I can understand that, but to go too woke, you go too far. Now, I'd say that on the other side as well. I don't want anyone to go too far into the classic traditional Star Wars again. I mean, like, there are extremes for a reason. If you meet in the middle, that is where it's most impactful. Everybody gets a voice, everybody gets a say, and stories get to be told that are not common, that we don't need to have everything relate to our everyday life in the way that, you know, oh, hey, I see this person and this person is exactly like me. Yes, there's a place for that. But everything needs to mirror what Andor is doing right now. Everything needs to mirror a change, because without our understanding of the past, we can never, ever understand how we need to act in the future. Disney's changing. Ragnarok was the worst thing for anything to do with Disney, because what they wanted to do was make light of the whole franchise that they had, be that Marvel or Star Wars or anything that Disney owns. They have to make it funny, and it ruined it. It ruined it. I think spot humor, little bits sprinkled in everywhere, is perfect. But this show is that other extreme. We need this other extreme to show us that art still exists. In a time where we are shown things that are AI generated every single waking moment of the day. This right here is the art of human expression. Deep. Now, in episode 8, which was the most impactful episode of all of them, we got to see the revolution. Now, I don't need to go deep into it. You guys can go look at amazing creators like Beyond the Dune Sea, who will dive deep into everything that is happening in the episode. But I want to talk about the meaning. I want to talk about the meaning because that's what I feel like I do. I talk about the meaning behind all of it. And episode 8 was a gorgeous display of that French Revolution that I preluded to earlier. This one is anything and everything to do with how the Empire controls people through misinformation and, at the same time, malinformation. I mean, technologically, you can see them completely wipe out and genuinely eradicate ideals of any oppression and repression. I mean, like, how do you create systemic failure within a whole organization? It's everything that they're doing. Genuinely everything that they're doing. Not only is the Empire cunning and deceiving, it is, I mean, I alluded to it before in a previous episode. I talked about, is there a place for an empire like this? I mean, like, previously we've seen the Empire as someone who is, like the loose hand of the Emperor. But, like, is that really the case? Because, okay, now I talked about before how the Emperor is so important to be this figurehead, this master puppeteer of everything bad, right? And is, like, the whole reason for his failure is because the Empire beneath him was so stupid. And all of these people were revolting and creating brand new ideals and joining the rebellion and sparking things everywhere. I mean, like, the perfect representation of that is Finn. I was going to say his whole thing. I can't remember. It's like FN 287 or something like that. Anyways, Finn, I mean, like, he's the perfect representation of that. Someone who is, built into the system and has revolted against all of it within the ranks. I mean, that's gorgeous. It's gorgeous symbolism. But with this, I think it's important. I think it's important because we understand the wide scale that the Empire has taken. I mean, like, they take over every single planet. They control the most important aspects of the galaxy. This is the reason why they have every single part of, manufacturing, mining, financial systems. They own everything. Anything and everything to do with any running of the galaxy, they own it and they run it. How did they get to that point? Well, it's because of this. It's because how cunning and conniving and manipulative they are. I don't know what happened to Cyril. Now, Cyril is the stick up the butt guy. I mean, like, he's the dude who was searching for Andor. Well, I mean, like, Cassian the whole time. I mean, like, wow. To see them walk past each other in a moment that was just like, oh my God, because we know how much Cassian has inadvertently ruined this guy's life, and he's made it his life's purpose to take down people like Cassian. Wow. And to see something like this, I mean, like, it looked like Cyril had turned to the rebellion side. It looked like he was interested in the girl who was a part of the rebellion before, that like strawberry blonde girl. I can't remember her name. She didn't want him. But he was literally telling them everything to do with the inner workings of the Empire whilst also dating the Imperial girl. I can't remember. I think it's Daedra. I don't know. So he's telling everything from the inside and out. But did he fall? Now, that was one thing that was constantly going through. And at the very last moment, I mean, like, wow. When we see how he's just opened up to every single person controlling and manipulating him, giving him this false sense of, he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know who he is. And now at this point where he's finally found something that he wanted to do, everything that he wanted is right here on Gorman. They take it from him. And it was his last stand. I mean, he got vicious. I mean, he's choking his girlfriend. I mean, Daedra, I think it is. I'm just going to call her Daedra. He's choking her and she's like, I'm in pain. Wow. Like, how do you show this anymore? As like, I feel sorry for him. I genuinely feel sorry for him. He's someone that just wants to do good. I mean, sure, he's a bit of a bootlicker and he wants to just create the most powerful empire as possible. And I understand that. It's just doing his job. He's very good at what he does. But at that very moment, when he catches Cassian and they fight, and God, does he fight well. Now, the whole time I was rooting for Cassian. I mean, like, yeah, absolutely. I genuinely just think, you know, Cassian, he has to win. He has to be strong. But like to look at him, to look at Cyril and how he challenges Cassian, it was fucking gorgeous. Gorgeous. You can't generate feelings like that without the years and years of tyranny against this man. And to look at Cassian deep in the eyes, blaster pointed right at his face and say, and Cassian for him to say, who are you? Wow. Whoa. Dead. No word. No, nothing, dead. How the hell do you get that? How the hell do you reprimand that? What? I mean, he's forever left in limbo. If there is another life in this galaxy far, far away, his spirit will be looking down and seeing this just going, I wasted my life. And I think that's very remnant of what the Empire does. Everyone who thinks they are doing something so important, anyone who you see who is a part of the Empire, and they look, I mean, Vader is the perfect depiction of that, right? Everything that he thought was impactful, everything that he thought was good, lost. Lost. He didn't need it. He wasn't important. He wasn't impactful. Why did he waste his whole life doing something that was so wrong? And it meant nothing. What was really cool about episode 8 as well, we got to see K2SO. I mean, like that moment when you're seeing all of them looking forward and then he just goes, That was fucking sick. So all of the KX droids, I mean, like Tony Gilroy has pointed out that he wanted to make it a little bit scarier. I mean, like he wanted to show that it was just like the most terrifying. These guys are actually freaky. I mean, like they've got superhuman strength, literally throwing people. He wanted to do something like an alien thing. You know what I mean? Like, whoa. It was crazy. I love that they added that in. I love seeing K2SO. I think that was so cool. Look, the genuine fear that I had, I actually wrote down in my notes and I had to cross it out. Like, I was like, oh, deaths aren't really that important. Like, sure, this chick just kind of gets like blown and then like she gets blown, blown and thrown over across the room. And then you just go, oh, she's dead. Okay. Wow. All right. Nice. You know what I mean? It's like, it's nothing. Like, how do you die off that? And then next thing you know, you're seeing this KX droid just grab it. Whoa, holy fuck. Through someone like 50 fucking meters. No, probably not 50, like 20 meters. And then up into the air and then hitting the wall so hard that it breaks the wall. Genuine fear. And watching a Cassian like shoot at K2SO and then not have anything happen to him. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be shitting myself. I think it's cool. I like that I like that we got to see that. It was, I think this episode was fucking beautiful for one big reason. All right, I'm just going to write down here. I've got written down here. What this episode does is it romanticizes strength against tyranny. In the end of the day, good will always prevail. Genuinely good will always prevail. But now we get on to the last episode, and it's gorgeous. From the framing to the outfits to everything to do with this episode. It's fucking incredible. The writing was impeccable. Nothing in this show is short of outstanding. How do you pack anything and everything into this episode with just one speech? What Mon Mothma did was she summed up everything to do with the rebellion over the whole span of their existence in one speech. And it was gorgeous. Now, I talked about how everything is life or death, and I feel like this speech is the most important part of that. I will say something before I want to actually, I want to say the speech. I want to say what she said because it's really important. But before I say that, I wrote down something here that I think kind of sums up my idea of Andor Season 2 so far. Andor isn't a bastardized idea to dramatify, I made that word up, to dramatify the Star Wars story. It adds depth beyond all else to show everything at stake as Luke fires those proton torpedoes. Now, I know I talked about that before, and I know that meant a lot to everyone. But wow. Does this mean everything to do with Star Wars? Now, if I pick up this speech, okay, listen to it. Listen to everything because this sums up Andor in one. The rebellion in one. Fellow senators, friends, colleagues, allies, adversaries, I stand before you this morning with a heavy heart. I've spent my life in this chamber. I came here as a child. And as I look around now, I realize I have almost no memories that predate my arrival and few bonds of affection that cleave so tightly. Through these many years, I believe I have served my constituents honorably and upheld our code of conduct. This chamber is a cauldron of opinions, and we've certainly all had our patience and tempers tested in pursuit of our ideals. Disagree as we might, I am hopeful that those of you who know me will vouch for my credibility in the days to come. I stand this morning with a difficult message. I believe we are in crisis. The distance between what is said and what is known to be true has become an abyss. Of all the things at risk, the loss of an objective reality is perhaps the most dangerous. The death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. When truth leaves us, when we let it slip away, when it is ripped from our hands, we become vulnerable to the appetite of whatever monster screams the loudest. This chamber's hold on the truth was finally lost on the Gorman Plaza. What took place yesterday, what happened yesterday on Gorman was unprovoked genocide. Yes, genocide. And that truth has been exiled from this chamber. And the monster screaming the loudest? The monster we've helped create? The monster who will come for us all soon enough is Emperor Palpatine. How? How do you get better than that? I think what this show is going to prove to us, above all else, is that Star Wars is changing. And Star Wars is growing in a direction which, I hope the fans are favorable because I think it's a positive one. What they're showing now is that everything can mean everything. It is life or death. And I'm so excited for the next upcoming episodes. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know why. I don't know where. I don't know what. I know nothing. All I know is that I'm going to be tuning in. And I've got a little quote that I thought resonated for me as well. Okay. So it really, like, this whole speech reminded me of now I got this one because it's kind of cool. Alexander is going to be a bit blurry, but Alexander Warrior Jar. Okay. Now, if you guys have played Elden Ring, you would know this guy. You see him all throughout, and he's one of the the combatants in the Festival of Rodan. Now, he said a quote here that I think resonates quite well with this speech. To think I could face a great champion of the shattering, a demigod in the flesh. In truth, I quiver at the thought. Such is his frightful repute. But the fear simply assures me the ordeal is worth undertaking. In the challenge that Moth makes in challenging the Empire, in challenging Emperor Palpatine himself, she has taken the ultimate sacrifice. Although fearful the whole time, she knew that the most important message lie beyond what happens on that day. After that speech, that right there is the initial ignition of the rebellion. The common people have heard her voice. Now we'll see how they act on it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for enjoying this episode if you've seen it this far. If you like this, chuck us a like, only because I get to know whether or not you want more of this style of video. I love you all. May the Force be with you always. Phidias, if you've watched this far, I love you, brother. May the Force be with you always. And remember, this is the way.